Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that if you're returning. How you doing? Grab that coffee, maybe a snack or two. All right, let's get into it. We got some stuff to talk about. Oy, madonna mia. So, listen, when you see in the subject line of an email that says, "Oh Lord, give me strength," you know. It's like, hand to God, I need help, right? So this email, listen, it says, Buddy Boy says that there's an 80,000 trucker shortage. All right. Prez Spudsy says there's 35,000 more trucker jobs since the pandemic, and he totally dissed truckers and their families when he talked about how hard it is for truckers to raise a family with dignity and pride. I know he said that. And she goes, what the? Just listen. There were industry and news reports that stated there were over 60,000 truckers who lost their jobs over a year ago now. There are insider reports that Walmart's is cutting back on trucking deliveries to lower operating costs. Trucking companies are shifting to more long-haul orders due to fuel prices and other ongoing problems like the shortages of diesel emission fluid, that DEF, okay? And she said, I've been hearing from employees and management at the grocery stores and retail stores like Food Lion, Big Lots, Dollar General, and such, that they've never know what's going to be delivered or when or if. And they're only getting a third or a half a truckload when the deliveries do arrive. And less trucks, less deliveries have been going on for a long time now. Exactly. And you know, when you're trying to run a store, retail, okay, like a Dollar General, a Dollar Tree, or even a food store, Big Lots, anything, how can you run a store not knowing what your stock is going to be? That's my question. Because, you know, as a consumer, okay, when you go up to a manager or even an employee and you say, I see you're out of this, because who knows, do stores even do rain checks anymore, right? Remember rain checks, right? And, you know, you say, well, do you know if you're going to be getting this item in again? Now, with all of this being said just now, a manager or an employee can't even say now, well, it'll be on the next truck coming in today, tomorrow, whenever. They can't even say it because they don't even know. And that's really sad. You can't even run a business efficiently because you have no idea if you're even going to be getting any products in at all. And that's just terrible. So this email came in and she said, I just came from BJ's, which is like a Costco Sam's Club, here near Syracuse, New York. And for weeks, I've been noticing that the cat litter section is getting perpetually smaller. We've been noticing that in a lot of stores. Today really shook me to the core. Only about 18 boxes of the most expensive litter and 10 buckets of another were in the aisle and above it. Pallets of items that don't belong there at all. Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of that. Baby wipes, too, are incredibly thin with random pallets of filler above. There's a coupon for Vaseline, but none in stock again. Rice is beginning to thin dramatically as well, with no pallets above. The bread aisle is holy and sparse, and everything is up in price. I'm truly grateful for yourself and others who began warning me that this was coming. See, that's why I do what I do, and I read the emails that I read, and I put the pictures in that I put in, because they come in from all over the country, all over the world. Okay, so because I know a lot of you email me and you say, am I going nuts? Am I going crazy? No, you're not. Because what you're seeing in where you live is going on everywhere. Okay, it's not just what you're seeing. It's not just in your head. It's really, really not. Okay, so please just remember, it's not just in your area. Okay. She said, I've done my best to prepare and continue to do so, more slowly though, as I'm trying desperately to pay down some debt that accrued during the, debacle. We all are. We all are. New to us, home, etc. Feeling very damned if I do, damned if I don't. Oh gosh, we all have that. We all have that. She said, I continue paying down and stocking up. Well, thank you, sweetheart, for praying for all of us. Yes, thank you so much. Wow. Yeah, listen, we're all going through it. Every single one of us, So this was sent to me. It's a picture, and it says, there's no harm in hoping for the best as long as you're prepared for the worst. And then this is another picture that was sent in, and it says, is everyone in this world a secret prepper? I asked him. No, the zombies are the neighbors who never prepped. Those are the ones you got to worry about. The rest of us go along to get along. Truer words never spoken. So this email was sent to me, okay, and she said, this came across my Facebook feed. This is someone I follow and has pretty good information. Hot intel from Mike Adams. I don't know who that is. Walmart raising prices on 6,000 food items right now, putting in new algorithm to raise prices each week in anticipation of rapid hyperinflation, heightened store security being discussed internally in anticipation of organized flash mob looting of Walmart stores. Hope you're able to get this information to benefit the community. Yes, sweetheart. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, because, this is going to, affect every single one of us, especially those of us that still shop in store, but not just that, it's going to affect those of us that still shop online. So, and once it hits Walmart, it's going to hit other retail stores as well. So, yeah. But now on to this. I want you to listen to this. Okay, this is an article. I'll leave the link in the description box below. Obviously, okay, you guys know to always go to the description box below to find links to things that are discussed in this, in all of my videos. Okay, links to preps that I've bought. Links to small businesses that are owned by people in our community and everything else in between. Okay, so it starts out as a controlled demolition of the U.S. food supply as a means to deliberately cause food scarcity, panic, and chaos nationwide. U.S. rail carriers have learned right now declaring force majeure. Here we go again with that term, force majeure. I have discussed this. TRISH has discussed force majeure over and over and over again. And, force majeure, okay, canceling of contracts on their obligations to deliver hundreds of thousands of product. And when a company cannot do this, they declare force majeure. Okay, so it goes on to say, and canceling contracts on their obligations to deliver hundreds of thousands of rail cars in this scenario here, rail cars of bulk grains to cattle and dairy operations in America. Right now, Tens of thousands of dairy animals face starvation within weeks, and grain supplies will be gone in many areas in just a few days. Importantly, if dairy animals are culled, C-U-L-L-E-D, okay, because of a lack of grain, it will take many years to rebuild dairy operations to the present level. Say goodbye to affordable milk and cheese, yogurt, and whey protein. Don't forget this also affects, listen to this, infant formula. Okay, so for those of us that are young parents, even grandparents, aunts and uncles, and we have taken on the responsibility of raising our grandchildren or nieces and nephews and whatnot, okay, this is going to affect us regardless if we think it will or not, okay? This is all being done on purpose to create a mass chaos and civil unrest, of course, because everything that they do is to ensure that it will create a mass chaos and civil unrest. Okay, this is what they live for. Yeah. So, as this logistics catastrophic unfolds, okay, because it's a catastrophe, because everything is, right on, you're going to see meat prices plummet for just a very, very, very short period of time. And that's because farmers and dairy operators will be forced to sell their cows to slaughterhouses because they can't afford to feed them, okay? And this can be caused by either a lack of feed supply or skyrocket feed prices. Okay, and meanwhile, skyrocketing fertilizer prices are already in play across the entire planet, and this is going to dramatically hike grain prices in the next harvest. Okay, now from here, the domino effect kicks in, where high grain prices lead many animal ranchers and dairy operators to realize that they can't even afford to keep their herds fed. All right. Now, the higher prices of milk and meat products at retail won't be a simple answer to this, in case you were thinking that like ranchers and dairy operators could just charge more for everything and get by with increased revenue. Nay, nay. You see, dairy and meat products, like almost everything else, sees a sharp drop in demand when prices go higher. Okay. And in economics, this is known as demand elasticity, okay? And it means that as prices rise, more and more people to decide to avoid buying these things. Higher prices equals lower demand, okay? And ultimately, this means that dairy and meat operations in America are going to be significantly smaller in the coming years. And this just happens to coincide with globalists' effort to banish all meat and animal products to be replaced by cultured meat, okay, which is made from like cloned heart stem blood cells and harvest from baby calves, and it's not even vegan, it's gross, whatever. So with meat and dairy soon getting out of reach for your average American consumer, you might think that they would be turning to more plant-based diet. Now, the problem there, of course, is that grains and legumes and fruits and nuts and veggies are also experiencing alarming levels of price inflation. Now, scarcity in these items is also getting significantly worse. Okay, now topping it all off, fertilizer prices are skyrocketing around the world, which means fewer farmers will even bother to plant these crops of any kind. Okay, given the much higher financial risk associated with $2,000 per acre of fertilizer costs. Okay, which used to be just like about $200 for per acre like 2 years ago. So, and then you have rising costs of fuel inputs as well, affecting tractors, transportation, and even the availability of pesticides. Yeah. So the bottom line, The world is going to face real starvation beginning in the next few months, lasting for years to come. By the end of this year, 1 to 2 billion people on this planet will face a risk of starvation. In America, food prices will likely double over the next year, and this will continue for at least another 2+ years, meaning you should expect to pay 400% more for food by early 2024 compared to what it was last year. So, we're already seeing the leading edge of all this with food price riots breaking out in Peru. Okay, riots are underway in Sri Lanka, and similar events have been reported in Spain. Okay, several in Middle Eastern countries so far. And this will spread throughout the year. By the end of 2022, dozens of countries will be in the midst of chaotic uprisings. And at some point, there will be revolutions and nations will fall. Chaos will reign. And if this all seems like the four horsemen of the apocalypse, that's because the end of times are now being played out in front of your eyes. And we have had this discussion how many times? How many times? Right? But right now, Walmart, they're in the process of raising prices of over 6,000 items, which many of them are food, okay? And, it's rapid hyperinflation kicking in. This means that America's largest retailer understands that the dollar is collapsing. And in order to stay in business, they're going to have to rapidly increase prices on a frequency basis. Okay, and first it will be monthly, then weekly, then daily. Okay, and then trillions of money printing will only drive the cycle of the collapse into Weimar, and that's WEIMAR, Republic territory. And at some point, that dollar collapse will go to zero. This is now inevitable. It's only a question of how long it's going to take. The process may play out over several months or a few years, but the way things are accelerating could be looking at a financial catastrophe tipping point or like a black swan event that could collapse the system virtually overnight. So, yeah, it sucks, but it's true. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. You stay safe. Stay positive. You keep prepping. And as always, fear less.